poppin' Tea Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Underground Season 2 Episode 2 review. Let's get right into it, you guys. We saw off the episode with Bokeem Woodbine's character. I still don't know his name. I gotta look it up on IMDb. His wife is rocking their baby, and he walks in from field work early, and she asks him, like, what you doing here, Negro? Like, we need them coins. Like, get your ass back out there for Mass to come with both our ass. So he says he wants to show her something. So he closes the curtains and shows her that he can write and that he's been teaching himself at night how to read. And her heart is just melting. Like, she cannot believe what she's seeing. She, of course, does not know how to read or write herself. She asks, what is it that he wrote down on a piece of paper? And he says, it's how I feel about you. Why I taught myself how to do this. It says love. And he hands her the piece of paper, and she's just like overwhelmed. And she says, it's amazing. And she wants to keep it forever, but it could get them killed. And so she tears it up. And I was like, oh my God, that was so fucking sad. Jesus Christ, you couldn't even hold on to a piece of paper. And here we are just throwing away paper like it's nothing. His feelings are obviously hurt. And the song they played throughout this whole entire episode, if you watch Power, was the same song they used on Power. The episode, Ghost and Tasha finally slept together after being separated for months. I actually had downloaded the song on Tidal. Mind you, in this episode, they did it in flashbacks. So what we thought was in actual real time, they then went back into like a flashback scene. So it was, the whole episode was done out of order. So Elizabeth is sitting on the court steps looking like a young Jackie O in this bitch. John's body is being carted away, and we see flashbacks of her just screaming for help, and it just broke my heart. So we see Rosalee is at the house gathering ginger, frankincense, and myrrh and all types of shit. And she's crying because she knows that John has been murdered. So a white gentleman comes in and says that the wagon is ready. She tells him one of the slaves that is sick will need the home remedy that she's put together to fight the infection. So Rosalee says we have to get to moving. Whoever done this to John knows that this house is a station. The man says if they're brazen enough to target John in broad daylight, they would already stormed their house. The man says there's a hold on all cargo for the next 2 days. Rosalee says that means Moses, aka Harriet Tubman, gonna be stuck in Ripley. He assures that she'll find a way. He tells her she needs to focus on her family and that Elizabeth is going to need her. Rosalee agrees. Harriet tells Georgia, one of the sewing sisters, that a boat is leaving in 3 days, but it'll be a 4-day journey, and that they're going to have to push. We got to get on out here, homegirl. So Georgia says, we told Grant and the other stations we would lay low. Harriet says, if there is any trouble to be in, I'd rather face it on the road. So we see Rosalee sitting on the steps plucking a turkey, and she asks what is the route to the river as some man comes in and asks, is lunch ready? George look up the steps like, no nigga, it ain't. Bye, bitch. Once he leaves, she opens up a hat box which is filled with money. They're going to need all that money for Furrier. Harriet has a spell and passed the fuck out. And I'm like, well, let me find out you narcoleptic, Harriet. So she just, we gonna have to get on the I was like, damn, really, bitch? Rosalee thanks Georgia for helping with the Noah escape, even though they weren't able to, get him. Georgia asks how Elizabeth is doing and when is the funeral. Rosalee grows quiet because, her heart is breaking and she just doesn't know how to feel about the whole situation. And Georgia says, I'll send her a wire and let her know that you made it off safe. Rosalee says, can you tell her I'm sorry? Georgia nods, and then Harriet wakes up like she the Undertaker. She woke up like, I was like, nigga, this ain't WWE, Harriet. What the fuck is going on? And she says the plan has changed. Rosalee, she's just feeling really bad that she has to leave Elizabeth. John was her uncle. That's her family. But there was new family. She didn't really know him like that. And she wants to comfort Elizabeth, but she got her own situation to be dealing with. She just got a lot of shit going on. In the middle of the night, Rosalee is getting dressed and grabs, all the things she'll need while on her journey and her gun. Harriet comes in the room and says, you ain't got your man now, so they got you doubting everything. Rosalee says he's supposed to be here. John's supposed to be here. Ain't nothing the way it's supposed to be. Now you leaving me too. Harriet said, you got time to figure it out. No, I don't. Christmas coming soon. It's my only shot at stealing my mother and brother. Rosalee is doubting herself. Harriet tells her that she's fine and that everything she's learning moving this cargo will help her rescue her kin. Basically, Harriet telling her, bitch, pull it together. We ain't got time for all this old soft ass light skin shit you on right about now. Get the Drake up out of you and get you some Jeezy in your spirit, bitch. She said, ain't nothing more you can do about this whole North situation, bitch. So Harriet says, tell me the plan. And Rosalee goes over the plan that they set up. Harriet says, if you come across any danger, remember what I told you about the instinct. Harriet says, my vision was about you. You were on a riverbank, a boat in the distance. You got a look of accomplishment on your face. She said, you know who ain't there with you? And she's referring to herself. She's like, you're going to do this all by yourself. You don't need me. So Harriet says, these turkey feathers will protect you from the buckshots. You trust him, meaning the Lord, to protect you with the rest. And I was like, don't speak a word, Harriet. Rosalee and the 3 male slaves are in the woods lost. She's panicking and shit. She crying, and but she's denying that she's lost. One of the dudes is like, she gonna get us caught out here. Don't know where she going. I'm like, look at her, nigga. You shut your bitch ass up. Did nobody ask you for shit? The one that's sick is coughing like, but she the one that's got us out here. Like, chill, fam. Another, this big black nigga say, listen to that cough of yours. We ain't gonna make it. Rosalee hears Harriet's voice to find the notches on the tree. She spots a tree with the notches, and then she sees the wagon, and she says, we'll rest tonight and travel in the morning. The next day, she carries a basket to a house alone, and this is one of the station houses. So she knocks on the door, and this white woman opens the door, but the white woman got the door cracked, like, who you? What you want? So Rosalie looking at her like a friend of a friend sent me, like, girl, everything all right? The woman makes her identify the cars and asks, where's Moses? Because she thought Moses was going to be the one doing this trip. And she was like, plans change, but the cargo is still the same. So the woman tells her the well is around back, but she giving her this, scared look on her face. And so Rosalie peeped game and hears Harriet's voice to remember her instincts. So the white lady closed the door, and we realize that she's being held up by a white woman and this white man. So the white fish says something is off. She grabs her shotgun and tries to aim it at Rosalee's back, but she's already run off into the woods, so she can't catch her. Elizabeth is buttoning Valentine's shirt and his vest and everything. We realize she's giving him John's clothes. Rosalee comes into the room, and Elizabeth is still in the dress from when John got shot, and she says, I keep thinking about children, but so long not being able to have was like an open wound. This work we do, I thought would help close it, but now I can't help but think if we had a child, I'd have something left of him. My dress is still so clean. I didn't even touch him afterwards. Now he's gone. And she's crying, and Rosalee starts crying, but Rosalee, like awkward like me, she don't know how to, deal with emotions and shit. So she just put her hand on top of hers like, girl, we gonna get through this, girl. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. Georgia shows Elizabeth around the station house and all the different tunnels and escapes, and they have hidden passageways and hiding spots all around this motherfucker. So Elizabeth asks if she's concerned with boarders giving them up, because as she's showing her around the place, she just talking out loud while all these different white folks just walking around. She's like, bitch, don't you see all these other crackers? Like, they could give us up at any moment. And Georgia says, most of friends are the cause like you. But I'm like, Georgia girl, you need to chill on telling her all your business in front of all these white folks. So Elizabeth apparently will be staying there for a while because she can't be in the house alone. So Elizabeth is mad that Rosalee left. Only family John had left. Georgia assures her that she wanted to be there, but it was just too much for her. And Elizabeth says, everybody deals with their grief differently, but she's still mad. She's still salty. She's just going through it. So later on that night, she's sitting by the fire angry. She just looking at herself in the mirror, and she just got this venomous look in her eye because she just want to hurt somebody, and she's pissed and she's salty that Rosalee ain't there. She's by herself, and she's mad that John is gone. So Valentine comes in, And he sits with her and he tells her about his sleepless nights and that she just got to have a little faith and everything will be all right. He gives her back John's jacket and tells her to get some sleep. So Elizabeth looks at herself in the mirror again and she's still like, fuck that. And she got revenge on her face. And so she stands up and she goes over to the mirror and she lifts it up and it's a whole bunch of guns in there. So the next day we see her at the courthouse with the gun in her purse looking for the man who shot John. And she just sitting there and you hear that piercing noise from the gunshot and when everything happened and it's just reverberating in her ears and she just sitting there and she just wants revenge and she just plotting, looking for revenge all summer 18. So she just sitting there and she got on all black, dressed in all black like an omen, and she just ready. We see the blood, we see John's blood still sitting on the steps, and then Georgia comes and sits next to her, and I'm like, thank you Lord Jesus that Georgia showed the fuck up. The deafening sound is still going on in Elizabeth's ears as she's looking around, just looking around, trying to find somebody to fucking kill. So she doesn't want to listen. She's focusing on the pain, and as she's looking around, Georgia is speaking, and at first we don't hear what Georgia is saying because Elizabeth has that piercing noise in her ear. So eventually her voice fades in and we hear Georgia say, Georgia says, I know it's a lot, but I promise we can conquer it all together if we leave now. She's like, bitch, don't do it. Don't do it, Bernie. Don't do it. So Elizabeth holds on to the gun. She like, bitch, fuck all that. Fuck that. Your husband just didn't get assassinated in front of you the other damn day. So she's talking about how no one at the courthouse wants justice for his murder after all his hard work, all the shit that he's done. And everyone is calling it a senseless murder, but it's just an excuse so no one would have to take responsibility for allowing the world to be senseless. Georgia says, so you take my gun from your purse and you make someone take responsibility? Like, bitch, what? How that's gonna work? Elizabeth says, we have to disrupt their happy little lives. Georgia said, that is not what I meant. This is not justice. It won't make anything good or fair. Elizabeth tells her, just leave me the fuck alone, bitch, because I ain't trying to hear what shit you got to say. Georgia's like, bitch, I don't give a fuck what you got to say. I ain't leaving. I ain't walking out. Say what you want. Push, strike, and kill. I'm not gonna leave you. There's no way I will. No way. I'm gonna live without you. So Elizabeth listen to Georgia. She goes back home and she practices shooting. She like, I might not get him today, bitch, but I'm gonna get him another day. So she prepares John's suit for the funeral. We see the funeral and it's only like 10 motherfuckers there. And I'm like, ooh, you white devils, you some heartless motherfuckers. So Steen is on Gullah Island giving us formation teas. I was like, what in the hell is happening? I just felt like somebody was gonna start gliding across the water. So I was like, you and me could make this love drown. You and me could calm the world down. And I'm like, come on, y'all, get in formation. I'm just looking like them some fly ass slaves. They look like a whole motherfucking Benetton ad. They look like a whole new Gap ad or some shit. Thing Boo thing is washing her feet as she humming, you know. And he started playing the guitar and she's like, come on, shit, we get us a demo, get us a motherfucking record deal, bitch, come on, you beat Tina, I beat Ike. So the rest of the slaves are at church and the preacher is talking about the poison making its way through their people as Sting opens up another bottle of ether. He trying to tell these, y'all letting these motherfuckers crackers get y'all hooked to this shit and taking away your true essence. Don't forget who the fuck you are and what your ancestors taught you. So Sting is getting high and her face still is bruised and her boo thing says he's sorry for hitting her and he'll do anything for her, but that there's a girl that needs her help and will she help? She says yes. So as she's sitting there nodding off and shit, Steen sees this fine ass chocolate man off into the distance and she like just smiling like, oh my God, my love is back. And apparently it's Sam's father, her ex-husband, well, her deceased husband. So as Steen is in the fields working, the girl by the name of Frenchie walks up and asks her and says, you know, the boo thing, which I couldn't catch his name. Somebody tell me who's Steen's boyfriend. What is his name? She said, Blank said you can help me. And so Steen shows her a bottle in the bag. It's a homemade abortion elixir. And she tells her, you know, you'll bleed and there will be some pain. The girl says, you know who the father is, right? And Steen nods yes. But she's like, bitch, I don't care. This is just momentary. The girl says, I only laid with your man one time. He don't want it. And he ain't the father and type no way. And so she goes on about how, you know, the people in the little community don't do shit but talk bad about you. She ain't gonna be able to find no husband if she, you know, keep the baby or whatever. She don't want to be stigmatized. So she asked Steen if she ever had any kids. And Steen said yes. And they were the best thing in my life. And so the girl realized at that point that she wants to keep her baby. So she gets up and she does not take the medicine with her. So Steen is walking with a basket on her head, getting high, when she spots this berry tree. So she goes over to it and Sam daddy appeared. And she says, you know, we were happy until you died. And he says once he died, her eyes fell on the big house. She wasn't going to love no more unless she got something from it. Like most people do. Other than heartbreak. Steen says, I couldn't let what happened to you happen to Sam. But it ended up happening anyway. He says you let your heart grow cold and that Sam felt it. Rose did too, and that's why she ran. Ernestine says, I loved my kids. He said, you loved them so much that you opened your legs whenever the master called to protect them. Like, bitch, come on, tell the truth, bitch. He said, you killed for them. After James, you fixed it so you couldn't have no more. Your children are the worst thing that ever happened to you. And here you are picking raspberry leaves for that little girl and her baby. And I was like, well, shit, Sam daddy, come on back from the grave and speak the damn truth. But part of that is that Ether talking to her too by saying that her children were the worst thing that happened to her, because you know Steen love her motherfucking kids. She'll ride or die for them any day. That night during the storm, Steen boo thing snatches Frenchie up and drags her into their little hut and asks Steen, where is it at? And so Steen looking like, fuck, like, what do I do? And she's, you know, weaving a basket together. The girl like, please don't tell me I want to keep my baby. Please don't. He like, fuck all that shit. Where is it? And so Steen like, look over there like, there it is right there. And so he grabbed the shit and forced it down the girl's throat. She don't want to take it, but he forced her to swallow it. And then he throw her ass down to the ground. And Steen just sit there like, shh, girl, I tried to tell you earlier, but let me go ahead and finish this basket. Steen don't get no fuck. He's sleeping. Steen gets up and walks out to the tree that the pastor was talking about early in the episode, and she finds the girl Frenchie sitting underneath the tree bleeding. Baby gone. Rest in peace to the unborn baby. Who gonna bring what to the repast? Shit, I'll bring a bottle of Similac. Noah's section. Noah is trying to unlock his chains while being blindfolded. He finds a nail and unchains himself. He takes the little bag off his head to see where he's at. The wagon then slows down, so he has to put everything back on, put the chains back on, put the bag over his head. So a white man is pushing him through the woods and shit, and the white man has an accent. He sounds Irish. So the man takes the bag off of his head when Noah says, nigga, I can't fucking see. Like, what the fuck you expect? You keep on pushing me and shit. I can't see. So he takes the shit off his head and he leads him to another wagon. While on the wagon, Noah breaks the floorboard and takes the chain to make a crack in the latch that holds the wagon together. The wagon then we find crashes. Noah makes a run for it, but they catch him and, you know, start hitting him and shit. So then we see this old rich white fish in the wagon, this old fine ass white boy. And I was like, shit, I'm a slave for you. I cannot hold it. I cannot control it. I'm a slave for you. Like, that boy could get it. I was like, who casted that motherfucker? Because how you doing? Noah tells the men he can help them. Two Irish men are trying to fix the motherfucking wagon, but they can't. So Noah just sitting back, laid on the ground like, shit, I can help you motherfuckers, but I mean, y'all over here thinking y'all better than me. But we all in the same motherfucking boat. He tells them, y'all y'all, which I feel like y'all can't talk to me. Y'all slaves too, because that white man is the master. So then one of the dudes rush over like to go hit him, and another dude stop him, and he says, you're keeping something from us. And so he finds the ring he made for Rosalee, and he takes it. Noah is like, oh bitch, you about to die. He preparing to strike, but then he stopped. And the dude says 5 months in that jail instead of trying to escape. You know what that tells me? We don't need you. Noah says what it should tell you is that I'm a patient man. The type that will spend 3 days destroying a wagon you can't seem to fix, bitch. It should tell you that I care a lot about somebody and I'm going to get back to him no matter what. So the dude says, you didn't go nowhere, but you right back here in chains. Noah says, I won't always be, and when I ain't, I'm going to get that ring. So they take him to the sexy master's house, and Master standing on the steps looking like he in the Tom Ford ad or some shit. And Noah immediately drops the chains, grabs sexy master, take his gun and point it to his head. And he tells the nigga that took his ring, give me that ring back. The dude give him the ring back. They all pointing guns at Noah. Noah got his gun cocked at sexy master. And Noah warns that if anyone moves, master gon' get it. And then we hear motherfucking laughter in the background. Somebody like, ha ha. And it's none other than Kato, bitch ass. And I'm like, hear this crafty Negro go. And he says, while he's smoking a motherfucking cigar, only problem is, he ain't the master. I am. Sure enough. And I'm like, this nigga that took that money from last season and then bought him some old cracker Irishmen and made them his slaves. I was like, you go head on, Kato. Whitefish, who was trying to grab Rosalee, getting her back blown out. And Mr. Donahue knocks on the door and she kicked the little nigga, the little white boy that she was fucking out. So they sit down and he tells Whitefish, whose name is Mrs. Cannon, that he's enthralled by her slave catching. So he's writing a story about her life and asks, I got a question though. To be the most notorious slave catcher, one would think you would have caught the most notorious runaway. And she says, oh, you talking about Harriet Tubman? He was like, yes, bitch. Why should I be writing a story about her? Because she's far more entertaining and fascinating than you are. So she's looking at him like, tread lightly, motherfucker, tread lightly. So the next day, Whitefish is telling him how her business work, but he like, girl, I'll just observe, just do what you do. One of her workers come up and says that he heard where Harriet is, and she tells them to round up the horses. And that's when we get back to when Rosalee appeared at the lady's house. So back at the house, we see Mrs. Cannon asks, who was that girl? I thought Moses was supposed to be at the door. The lady says, I don't know. All I know is they call her Black Rose. I was like, Black Rose, come on with the dope ass name, Rosalee. So Rosalee is hiding out in the woods watching, trying to figure out where her little henchmen are because she know they're around. So old boy still coughing and shit. Probably like, nigga, shut up, they gonna hurt us. So they ask what they gonna do if they miss the boat. Rosalee assures they're not going to miss it and will run when the time is right. They eventually make a run for it, and Rosalee stops because she hears something in the distance. So she tells them to head for the trees because they're almost there. The sick motherfucker passes out. She like, not now, not today, Satan. And she take a motherfucking homemade pen and punch it in his chest, and he and revitalize himself. She like, nigga, run. And then we see that they actually made it on the boat. Rosalee is standing there so proud of herself because Harriet's vision came true and she's just so happy. And then the next thing you know, we hear pow! And Rosalee fall in the water. Whitefish says, go ahead and get my catch. We see Rosalee emerge from the water and she's taking off her clothes, and the turkey feathers we see shielded her pregnant belly. OMG, they made her pregnancy a part of the storyline. Rosalee is having Noah's fucking baby. Rosalee and Beyonce pregnant at the same time, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, oh my God. But she did get shot in the arm. We won't see that until next week's episode. But I'm like, Rosalee pregnant by Noah. That's gonna be a cute baby. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy for you, bitch. Oh my God. Wait till Noah find out he gonna be a daddy. So now they gonna be on a run and shit with their baby. I cannot, Jesus. I give tonight's episode an A. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Wonderful writing. I did not like that it was out of order the way it was because it's kind of confusing. But other than that, I love tonight's episode. Let me know down below in the comment section what you thought about tonight's episode. What was your favorite part? What was the most traumatic part for you? What got your blood pumping? What made you cry? What made you laugh? Please make sure to thumbs up this video. Subscribe to my channel if you have not, and turn on that bell button so you know when my videos drop. Please share this with all of your family and friends because we want to keep underground around, keep my reviews around, honey. I put a lot of work into these. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I thank you all so much, and I will see you next week. A blessed week. Bye.